Doesn't matter who says what, you'll always know who you are. We've tried that, doesn't work. Take away communication and things fall apart. Hi everybody, welcome to session 1 of Marriage Counseling Coaches. We're going to start out with why is relationships so hard? Friends of ours, their daughter, when she was in grade 12, she was actually the only child in the classroom whose parents were still married. And we have a lot of examples like that. Previous people that did the course, one guy, he did class in the high school as well, and of his children in his class, the teacher, 37 children, only 3 of those 37 parents were still married. So why is a relationship so hard? Now, most probably you've heard this one before, but just for interest sake, people would say, but men and women differ. That could be a problem. Yeah, obviously they differ, but here's some information how to keep your wife happy. All right, so it's very simple. You just dine her, call her, hug her, support her, hold her, surprise her, listen to her, laugh with her, cry with her, compliment her, smile at her, romance her, believe in her, cuddle her, shop with her, give her flowers, give her jewelry, hold her hand, write love letters to her, share your heart with her, go to the end of the earth and back again for her. Man, and you've got a happy wife. She will feel loved for certain. Now, women, here is my tip for men, how to keep your man happy, feel loved, just everything. All right. And here the slide will come up and it will show you, very simple, is very important is show up naked. And you can bring food, but that's optional. And Bob's your uncle, husband's happy. All right. No, for real, why is relationships so hard? First of all, remember, people working in unity achieves 1,000 times more than one person would. Just look at skyscrapers. I mean, one person is not going to build a building like that. Unity. And then, obviously, the most important thing is family unity. A whole family, a family that everybody feel loved and accepted, and children feel loved and accepted. You've got a place where you can share your emotions, share your heart safely. Being in a whole family creates whole children, people at the end of the day. So that is actually a huge problem for the enemy. The enemy doesn't like it. The plans that he has for us, like John 10:10 says, the thief does not come except, listen carefully, does not come except to steal and to kill and to destroy. So the enemy is trying to destroy us. And the best way is to make us broken people. Right, so what I'm saying is, for the enemy is for real. The moment you start a relationship, it's like entering a war zone. When you get married, even worse. It's like moving up to the front line of this war zone. And when you get children, man, then it even gets more worse. Why? The enemy is after your children. He wants you to break up. He wants to destroy your children. All right, so the enemy is real, people. Now, your partner is not your enemy. Your wife is not your enemy. Your husband's not your enemy. I know it feels like it, but it's not like that at all. There's a real enemy. All right, coming back to saying a whole family creates whole children, whole people. Very interesting. Kids without the father or the absence of their father's love. So there's an absent father, father's not there, or he's working away so much he's hardly ever at home, or is at home but the kids is not experiencing the love of a dad. That creates broken children, broken people. Why do I say that? Just hear this: absent father or absent father's love. 85% of prisoners and drugs addicted. 85%. 80% of prostitutes and strippers. You have a 92% better chance of getting divorced or have a premarital birth, which obviously creates another fatherless generation, another absent father. It creates the next generation of broken people. So, what am I saying? Invest in your marriage. And that's what you're actually doing now. You're gathering information, you're investing in your marriage. And when you invest in your marriage, you're actually investing in your children. So, the biggest gift you can most probably give a child is to love their father and their mother. Children will always want their father and their mother. You can be adopted and the people that raised you could have loved you and just give you everything and everything you need emotionally. But you will always have the desire to know who is your dad, who is your mom. You would want to meet them, you want to get to know them. They always have a desire for their mother and father. All right, so the next slide, I think that just says it all. Watching that mom and child there, sitting at the computers. Your child will follow your example, not your advice. So we are creating the next generation by the way we are living. Long after we've been passed away, there will be people that's been affected because of the choices that we made. The first problem that we have seen and have experienced is the number one is a lack of knowledge, not knowing. We're getting into relationship, we get into to marriage, and we have no clue what it's about. We have no clue how it functions. We don't read any books. I ask people, have you read any books about marriage? Have you watched ever any DVDs or whatever about marriage? Anything? No. We just expect it should be like the movies. You know, the movies is just somebody's fantasy. It's not real life. Man, I've seen those people, they wake up in the morning and they kiss each other. Whoa, I don't think they know about morning breath. That's not going to happen. It's movies. It's not real life. And we expect our marriage to be just be like that. Just naturally be that. You need knowledge. Isaiah 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." And I'm telling you, marriages are destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. Simple as that. Awesome scripture that I love, Proverbs 3:13. "Happy is the man that finds wisdom, and that man that gathers understanding." Man, we always say, you must just love your wife. Don't try to understand her. Well, I'm telling you, happy. It says happy. Do you want to be happy? Well, it says, happy is the man or woman, that finds understanding. If you want to be happy, learn to understand the opposite sex. Learn to understand your husband, your wife. I love the next verse. Well, not the next one, 15, it says, she's more precious than rubies, and all the things thou can desire are not to be compared unto her. Just imagine, anything that you can desire, anything you can imagine, it can't even be compared to the value of understanding other people. To understand. All right, so that is what you are here for. You are here to accumulate knowledge. First of all, to put you in a position to help other couples, but obviously use this for your own marriage as well, or your future marriage. Good, so the very first thing is being happy married is extremely simple. I'm going to say it again. Being happy married is extremely simple. But, there's always a but, it's not easy. Let me explain to you this. If you want to run the Comrades here in South Africa, and you want to know what you should do, very easy. First of all, just run 5 kilometers every morning, and then weekends run 10s and 20s on the weekends. Do that for a year, and most probably you will be able to run the Comrades. All right. Is it simple? Yes, it's simple. Run every day. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. And that's how marriage is. We've discovered that it is really extremely simple to have an awesome marriage. It is so simple. But easy? No. In life, you don't get what you want, you get who you are. All right. So I'm just going to give you a practical explanation up next. I'm going to explain to you now what I just said. I said, you don't get in life what you want. You get what you are. All right, let's take these 3 rings, 3 different colors. All right, this point is the fixed point. This is what you want. So let's take this is your health. At this stage, your health is here and you want it up there, or you just want it average. All right, normally what happens with for instance, for diet. So what happens is, this is the way you've been eating, and that is why you are here. Now you start a diet. Now you change your habit. Change your eating. Stop eating sweets. Start eating the good things and all the junk, leaving out all the junk. So you become a different person. The person that's eating healthy food now. So your health is improving, and then after week 2. You fall back to the way you ate previously. So what's going to happen? You're just going to have that kind of health again. So if you want a healthy life, a healthy body, you're going to have to become somebody different. The person who you are at this moment you won't be this by just wanting it. You have to change. So you have to start eating differently. You have to start throwing out all the junk food. Stop eating the junk food, the sweets, the sugar, and start eating the right food, vegetables. Some of you guys will say, what's that? All right. So that's what you're going to have to. And changing who you are is going to give you what you want. All right, so I'm going to give you another example with money, but I'm not going to use this. I'm just going to explain to you. The next explanation, a great sample of that would be in finances. If we take, for instance, let's take Donald Trump. We all know him as an extremely rich guy. All right. He have lost in his life. He have lost everything. But you know what? You always gain back everything again. Why? It is not because he had money or anything. It's because it's who he is. Even if he loses it, the money just come back to him because of who we are. Take, for instance, somebody that won the lotto. Did you know that 80% of people that win the lotto, and I mean, sometimes it's a lot of money. It's like $70 million or even more perhaps. They lose all the money within 12 months. Why? Because they didn't become somebody different. They are still the person who they are. So even if you dump this lot of money on them, because of who they are, the money will come back to who they are. There's a very interesting saying that says that if you take all the money on earth and you split it up evenly to everybody, everybody's got the same amount of money. Within a short while, the money will end up back into the pockets where it was. Why? People need to be different. They will not have what they want. They will have who they are. Very important. Right. So, it is not important to finish this marriage course. That is not the important part. What is important is the person you become in the marriage course. That is really, really important. So, your thinking must change. You must change from a goal mindset to a growth mindset. That picture there that I have of that plant, it's a plant that's going to grow, and that's what you want. You want to grow in this course. All right. Very important. Albert Einstein, his definition of insanity, he said insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Man, do we try that? We try the same thing over and over and over, and every time we're expecting something different. You tell your child the same thing the same way over and over again, and nothing changes. We're trying the same thing and expecting something different. We do it. It's insanity. Right. So, you cannot remain the same person and expect your marriage to change. This is very important. This is extremely important. Listen again what I'm saying. You cannot remain the same person and expect your marriage to change. You can't solve a problem with the same way of thinking that you created it. The very first thing that people think, that's why I'm saying this, you can't solve a problem the same way of thinking that you created. Listen here. Most people that comes to us for marriage counseling, they think that just something must be fixed. It's like a car. You think your marriage is like a car. Well, if you just sort out the clutch, I mean, the clutch of the car's got a problem. So you sort out the clutch, and Bob's your uncle, this car's lekker again. We can like, and you get your marriage counseling, same thing. If my wife can just stop being so angry all the time, I mean, our marriage would be wonderful. She's a wonderful woman. It's just like, she's always angry. I don't know what's. Or my husband, if he just can stop drinking, everything is fine, but this drinking habits of his is just, they want us to fix just something. Now, that's not how you do it. It's a no. You don't fix a marriage, you change it. It's like health. You don't fix health, you change it. All right. So, but important, both need to change. A lot of people, they bring their partner and they think, well, if I can only change him, if you only change her, and then when I show them that they must change as well, they think like, well, I'm not going to change. So there's nothing wrong with me. The problem, he's the problem. You just sort out. The truth is, both. Listen carefully. Both need to change. All right. Now, the next thing is very simple, but we just battle to get it. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Listen again. If nothing changes, nothing changes. The next picture of this child and a dog. On the right hand side you have the dog. It says no choice. The dog will always be a dog. That's the difference between animals and people. A dog will be a dog. It will not start meowing. It will not start flying. It's not a bird. It will not swim underwater. It's not a fish. it's a dog. It will bark. It will do the things of a dog. But on the left-hand side, the child, that child can choose who he wants to be. Many examples of people that is extremely broke, that came out of horrible circumstances, came multimillionaires. One sample, Jack Ma. Listen to this. There, he failed a key primary school test twice. He failed middle school 3 times. Failed 3 years at university. Applied for 30 jobs and got rejected of 30 jobs. And yeah, KFC came to China and they had a position for 24 people. 25 people applied for the job. Imagine who he was. He was the only guy that was rejected. He applied for Harvard 10 times and got rejected. Today, he is the CEO of Alibaba. He is the 4th richest person in Asia. So, that child that I just showed can choose. Next person, Tammy White. This woman at the age of 46, and you can look at the picture, and not very good shape. And just next to that, age 55. It's 9 years later. It's not like a weekend. It's not a quick diet. But 9 years later, she's standing on a stage in a bodybuilding competition. So even at an old age, you can still decide who you want to be. You know, KFC started, Colonel Sanders, started when he finished his career, when he had to go on pension. He started that. So it's never too late. You can, at any time. The next slide it says, the moment you expect responsibility for everything in your life is the moment you gain the power to change anything. At any given moment in life, you can decide to change and become who you want to be. You will not have what you want. You will have who you are. I started out with that. The next slide, very hard words. We don't want to hear these words. It says, whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. The situation you are in, health-wise, financial-wise. I mean, just think the difference between somebody that's poor and somebody that's rich. Both has arms, legs, eyes, can talk, and you just name it. You know what's the difference? They're thinking. If you want your wealth to change, you're going to have to read what wealthy people think, what they are doing, how they function. You will not become a wealthy person by just wanting to be a wealthy person. You have to change. You have to change who you are. Now, the next slide. To grow, we need to change. That plant, same plant I just showed. Every time you'll come to that plant, you'll see that plant looks different. Why? It grew. All right. So it can't change without growing, and it can't grow without changing. So if you want to grow in life, you have to change. If you want to change in life, you have to grow. You have to get other information. You have to get more information, new information. It's like a computer program you need to update, or your phone, you have to update a bit. All right. Get new information to improve. Right. And then obviously, to become who you were meant to be, you must change consistently. God has a plan for your life. And He's putting that dream in your mind. You know you are not where you're supposed to be. You know that. And the only way you're going to be the person you're supposed to be is to change consistently. It's not a crash diet. That's why diets doesn't work. All diets work. The only reason why it's not working is because people only do them for a week or a month and then it stops. And then they just go back to who they were, and then they will just be the person who they were, doing the same things that they previously done. All right. That's what the Bible is all about. Bible, basic instructions before leaving earth. It's to change us. It's to change us for the better. It's to change us so that we can live the abundant life. Jesus said in John 10:10, I came so that you have life and life in abundance, in all assets of life. That's what Jesus said. And that is what the Word does to us. We're not reading the Bible to tick it off, or you're not keeping God happy by reading the Bible. You're changing your life. You need that instruction manual. It's the best instruction manual there is in life. You can't go without it. I can't go without it. I promise you. So the first and foremost, you need to change how you think. Now, this is not a new age principle. This is a Bible principle. The next slide, you'll see a rich guy and a beggar there. And the beggar and the rich guy, they more or less look the same age. Both are grey and whatever. It says the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life. And I'm going to show you the next slide. We're looking at scripture that says that exactly. Proverbs 4:23. It says, above all, be careful of what's going on in your heart. What you think determines everything. And in the Amplifiers, it says, the quality of your life. The next sample is the woman in Matthew 2 verse 21. The New Living Translation. Just listen what it says. It says, for she thought. It was what she was thinking. For she thought, if I can just touch the robe, I will be healed. Just touch the robe. That was exactly what she was thinking. And the healing she received was because of what she was thinking, first of all. The next one we all know very well. Be not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by renewing of what? The mind. The mind is what you are thinking. One of the things that I've also realized people want to think, they think that the circumstances must change. But the truth is, God does not want to change your circumstances so much as He wants to change you. An excellent example is absolutely the Israelites. If we look at Numbers 13, verse 30. All right. Caleb said, and listen here what he said. He said, we can certainly conquer it. He said, we can. That was going through his mind. That was what he was thinking. And then the next verse, it says, but the other men said, we can't. So, one said can, one said can't. Listen what happened next. Numbers 14:2. Their voices rose in a great chorus of protest against Moses and Aaron. If only we had died in Egypt, or even here in the wilderness. They complained. They were complaining. Why? Because of their thinking. Very interesting. Verse 28. God says, now tell this, as surely as I live, declares the Lord, I will do to you the very thing I heard you say. What is coming out of our mouths? Listen, he says in verse 29, he says, you will drop dead in this wilderness. It's exactly what they said. Because you complained. And then in verse 24, but my servant Caleb has a different attitude than the others have. He has remained loyal to me, so I will bring him into the land he explored. His descendants will possess their full share of this land. So, what it's also saying is, you leave, well, obviously we leave effect behind on this earth. You have no choice. You will leave effect behind on this earth. But what that effect is your choice. Your victories echoes in the future. I want to come back to the Israelites and how they were thinking, and how Caleb was thinking was completely different. And the same with David. What he was thinking was what actually killed Goliath, not the stone. Yes, the stone killed him. But he had a different thinking. His thinking was God was on his side. And the same with Caleb. His thinking was God is on our side. And that's why I said, reading the Bible is, the reason for reading the Bible is to change us. And it should change you in such a way, you should read the Bible until you believe that God, the creator of this universe, is on your side. That's what they were thinking. They were thinking, God's on our side. We can do this. David wasn't bigger, stronger, anything. But it was because what he was thinking. So, we saw, God said Caleb's attitude was different. So, our problem is never our problem. Our real problem is our attitude about our problem. The Israelites, their circumstances, the facts, the problem wasn't their problem. Their problem was their attitude. The same with David. All the other Israelites was laying there. He was afraid of Goliath. Why? Because of their thinking. David came with a different thinking, a different attitude. So, again, your problem is not your problem. Your attitude about your problem is your real problem. And that's why I said, spend time in the Word until you realize how much God loves you and that He's on your side. I want to end off this whole session. I was talking about changing all the time, changing. Why? Because to change your marriage, you must change your thinking. The slide that you're looking at right now, it's the same woman. But the one on the left and the one on the right has a completely different mindset. They are not thinking the same. Nothing will change if nothing changes. All right. So, the next session, the reason why I'm been saying change all the time, over and over, changing your thinking. The next thing what I want to ask you for the second session is, what is the purpose of marriage? Think about it. I mean, you know what the purpose of your phone is? It's to, you know exactly what you can use it for. What's the purpose of the phone? Or what's the purpose of a spade? What is the purpose of that? And now my question is, what is the purpose of marriage? So I want you to think about it, and I'm going to start up the next session, session 2, with this question exactly, because I want to change your thinking.